ladies and gentlemen. This is Jason Dillon with Cape Spear Customs. I'm out of southeastern North Carolina. That's where I do 99% of my diving and spearfishing. This YouTube thing's new to me. This is my first video that you'll see me talk on. I'm not real comfortable seeing and hearing myself on a camera, but after some long discussions with some slightly older, more wiser friends of mine, Steve over at Steve's Edible Sea Creatures, and my friend Chris at Tangled Up in Blue, both relatively new to YouTube and kind of paving the way for me. And they made it pretty clear that what we're getting to experience right now in our area for spearfishing and fishing in general could be a way of the past, similar to what I remember growing up and hearing my father and uncle say, who were longtime commercial fishermen from this area, and hearing the stories that they used to tell, and even some of the memories that I had as a youngster that are gone. I mean, that way of fishing, that level of numbers and the regulations have drastically tightened. So yeah, here we are. So this is my intro. Cape Spear Customs. I make custom spear guns, primarily enclosed, primarily teak. I can do a little bit of everything. I can build what you want and how you want it, but I prefer enclosed track teak guns, and I use, well, I guess basically all Neptonic Systems products. They haven't let me down yet. Great team over there for customer support and development and all that fun stuff. But so my first video here is going to be how to taxidermy a fish head. Several others have done it. My friend Steve at Steve's Edible Sea Creatures has recently done it. I'm going to try my method just a little bit differently, and this is really just a pilot test for using this camera and learning the ins and outs before I go down and lose some really awesome footage on our next dive. Right now we've got some bad viz and a real bad thermocline from a hard southwest wind for 18 or 19 days, and just figured we'd fill the time and figure out how to use this camera before we go out and need it, and there are no retakes like here on land. So that being said, this is me. This is what I do. My Instagram is Fins, Feathers, and Fur. I'm kind of the black sheep in this group. My other guys are straight fishermen and spear fishermen, and I'm not really just that. You know, this is our compressor room. They do all the main work on the big boats that they upkeep and all. So I got the little job of the compressor, so I think I definitely got the better end of this stick. So that being said, let's move outside. All right. So I don't believe my water's quite ready yet, but we'll give you a little run through of what we're doing here. This is we're going to let this come to a good boil, and then we're going to do our method a little bit different than my buddy Steve did. A friend of mine that we recently met out of South Florida, Jason Bahari. His link will also be in the description of the video if I can figure out how to do that. We're going to take this gag grouper head that I shot here not so long ago, and I believe it was in the 40-pound range, maybe just a little over. Give you an idea. That's my hand on it. I shot it with my buddy Steve. I believe we shot a pair of them, both being right around 40 pounds. I'm around 40 pounds. I'm not sure which one's bigger, but I'm sure if you look in the comments, he'll correct me, because he literally knows every dive we've ever made and what we saw and what we shot and what we left for the next time. But we're going to take this and stick it in this water briefly, and then we will pour this all into a cooler and let it sit for an hour or so, because you don't want to cook the bones and all, because it will discolor them, from what I understand. We are going to just try to cook the flesh enough to get everything off, and then we will move on to removing the oils and brightening the skull before we put it all together, which I think is the biggest task. I feel like there are many bones in these that don't connect together like a human does, with sockets and such. I believe there's a lot of voids that will be in here because of cartilage, so we'll see what happens. All right, welcome back. Here we go. We're going to place Mr. Gag in the cooler the best we can. Looks like that's a pretty good fit. And then we have to get that water in that cooler without burning myself. So this pot doesn't really fit. It's great. That smells delicious. Alright, here we are back. It's been about an hour and a half or so. The water's starting to get relatively cool, so hopefully the meat won't burn me too bad when we go to mess with this. But I would say don't tell my wife I'm about to use our outside shower for this, but she's loving and supporting, and she will probably watch this video if I publish it, so sorry about this in advance, babe. It smells just about as lovely as you can imagine boiling fish slime could be. So, just peeling right off here, but it's extremely hot still, so we may let this sit for a little bit. But as you can tell, it peels right off the lips. It's just really hot still. If you take a look right here, that's all bone and what have you from the gill plates. There's the rakers, the gills. So, oops, there's a bone. So we'll just let that cool off for a little bit, and then I'll pick it apart and we'll come back. So just a quick update. Here we are in the outside shower, trying to break all this madness down, separate the good stuff from the bad stuff, and also try not to make too big of a mess. It's gonna stink to high heaven for the next week. But we'll check back once they're all clean. Alright guys, we're back. I'm disgusting. I'm filthy. After several guests and lots of water later, and a ton of cleaning, here we have it. That is actually the main part of the skull. It's cool here. As you can see, right there where I shot him, I stoned this fish, which was always awesome with a fish this big. And that's where the shaft started to come through the skull, just a little bit there. But yeah, so that was the first major clean. Now we'll go through and do it again with some peroxide, and I'm actually going to use a salon product, a developer and such, that they would use to bleach hair. So I have not seen that method used anywhere else, but I use it on my deer skulls and it works really good. I'm not sure how this will work with all of these little pieces and parts and all that fun stuff, but yeah, that's what we're gonna do. This is probably gonna be a two-part video because this takes forever. So catch us on the next one. Thanks a lot, guys.